Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Colleen Callahan, the Director of the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. Thank you for being here to help us honor the 2019 and 2020 inductees into the Illinois Conservation Foundation Hall of Fame and to support the Conservation Foundation. As the chairman of the board of the Conservation Foundation, I know that there are a lot of different things that you could be doing right now, but I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. Someone earlier this year said to me that you grow through what you go through. And we've all gone through a lot during this past year. We've certainly learned how to adapt, adopt, and accept change. And many consequences, but one of the consequences of COVID-19 for us was the scheduling and then the rescheduling of our gala, and then the decision to go virtual as we are tonight. And so with that decision, it meant that a lot of things had to change, but many things did not change. Many of the features that you'll enjoy tonight were developed by our then Executive Director, Crystal Kerfman. Crystal is attending tonight, now representing the Max McGraw Foundation. They recognized talent when they saw it, and we thank you, Crystal, for sharing your leadership with us during your tenure at ICF. But then Steve Ettinger took the helm, and Steve has continued to build on the path that was built by Crystal. And he's even added 2 staff members, crucial in helping all of us be here tonight. So my thanks to Steve and to Cindy Timmerman and Justin Greaves for all of the work that they've done. And thanks must also be given to our RCF board members who have provided guidance and support and encouragement. So I'd like to recognize them now. Bill Cullerton is one of our board members, along with Ryan Anderson, Barb Johnson, Mike Hillstrom, Mike Wanless, State Representative Tom Bennett, Trip Banks, Dr. Robert Russell, Diane Schneider, and Mike Ruffalo. And you know, nothing is ever possible without sponsors. So thank you to Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers and the Max McGraw Foundation, the Wildlife Foundation, for their not only everything that they've done and what they've meant to ICS, but for their generosity, because of that generosity, we're all here tonight, and there has been no charge. How many galas have you ever attended that have been free? So thanks to our sponsors for making that possible. And you can't have an event, can you, without Ducks Unlimited? The quick answer is no. So thank you, DU, for being our silver level sponsor. I believe the next hour will go quickly as we honor and support the Illinois Conservation Foundation. And so let's begin. Welcome to the gala, and welcome our MC, Tim Schweitzer. Tim?
Thank you, Chair. And isn't it nice to be here on a Wednesday night in April celebrating the achievements of our Illinois Outdoor Hall of Fame inductees. We'll be hearing from them shortly. But we have a few logistics we need to explain, since this is a new format for the Illinois Conservation Foundation and for the Illinois Outdoor Hall of Fame Gala. So we'd ask your indulgence and pay attention to a few brief reminders on how to participate more fully tonight. If you haven't registered yet, it is free. We'd ask that you do so to participate in the raffles and the silent auction. Registration, if you're viewing the event on a computer, all the silent auction items can be found below the live broadcast under the silent auction tab. The Lifetime Sportsman License raffle can be found below the live broadcast under the raffle tab. All the raffles can be found on the right-hand side of the web page underneath donation options, which can be found below our sponsor logos. If you're viewing this event on a smartphone or a tablet, the silent auction and all the raffles can be found below the live broadcast and under their respective tabs, be it silent auction, raffle, or donation option. If, while viewing tonight, you have any questions or comments or concerns, we have a chat box available. On a computer, it's located on the right-hand side of the web page. On a smartphone or tablet, it's located below the live broadcast. And there will be ICF personnel manning that chat box for the duration of tonight's event, just in case you do have any questions. They'll be happy to answer them for you. Now we'd like you to hear this message from one of our sponsors as we continue the ICF Gala on this Wednesday night.
To everyone in our great outdoor family, you may be feeling a little cooped up, but don't forget, there are still rocks to be skipped, trails to be trampled, bass to be caught. The great outdoors are wide open, and they're calling us like never before. In these trying times, we need nature more than ever. We need nature to remind us that like a sunrise or the turning of the tides, these challenges will pass. We need nature to help us heal and reconnect with the ones we love the most. So when you can, get back to nature. Get back to each other. We're here for you.
Hello, I'm Steve Ettinger, Executive Director for the Illinois Conservation Foundation, and I'm here to ask you to make a donation for the future of conservation. Since 2005, ICF has donated or given away almost $150,000 in scholarships to 71 individuals. This year, we'll award up to 4 more scholarships to high school seniors who have demonstrated effective, voluntary, and long-term dedication to conservation right here in Illinois. These kids will possibly go on to be biologists, foresters, environmental lawyers, difference makers in conservation in our future. College tuition is rising, and we can help offset that through your donations tonight. This year, we have 35 applicants who are all Illinois residents. Winners will be announced in May. Make sure you're signed up on our email list and following on our social media to congratulate those winners when they're announced. One scholarship is reserved for a dependent of a DNR employee, our way of helping our public servants already working to make a difference. Tonight, you can make a difference in our future by donating to the ICF Scholarship Fund. Each recipient will receive a $2,000 scholarship, and we need your help in funding this program. ICF receives no state or federal funding. We are 100% funded from donors like you. Whether you can give $10 or $1,000, every dollar will make a difference to our future and our kids' future. You can donate anytime throughout the night or go to our website anytime throughout the year to donate towards this program. Thank you so much for your support. And now let's hear from some of last year's scholarship winners.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex Morlock and I'm currently a student at Southeast Missouri State University, and I am majoring in political science and minoring in economics. The ICF scholarship has fueled my ambitions for becoming an environmental lawyer, hopefully in the future, and I'm excited to see the opportunities it has to provide in fueling others' ambitions that are similar to mine. I'm very passionate about preserving the environment, and I'm excited to see the work of the ICF continue.
Hi, my name is Audrey Batts. I am the 2020 Illinois Conservation Foundation scholarship recipient. I'm currently using the scholarship to attend Iowa State University, and I am majoring in animal science here. I am using the scholarship to be able to take challenging and hands-on classes here that relate to my interests and major. I hope I will be able to minor in animal ecology in the future, and after I graduate, continue a career in conservation.
Tonight's gala wouldn't be possible without the support of our terrific sponsors. At this time, we'd like you to pay attention to a message from the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
This is what dreams are made of. Dreams can come true. Reach for the stars. Score on the power play with big savings on a 2021 Chevy Equinox. See your local Chevy dealer.
Up next is a preview of Wings Over Water, a movie highlighting the importance of America's rivers, lakes, and wetlands to sustaining wildlife.
From the heart of North America comes the story of a hidden treasure. Deep within the Great Plains lies a magical place, steeped in life-giving fresh water. It's an ancient gift left behind by melting glaciers. a wetland oasis vital to the survival of millions of birds. Each year, from every corner of the continent, birds travel thousands of miles to get there. It's a risky journey because wetlands are disappearing. Join the epic migrations of 3 remarkable bird families, returning home to raise the next generation. Discover the extraordinary abilities that guide them on their journeys. Witness the incredible feast that brings them to the prairie wetlands and the dangers they encounter at every turn. Come face to face with other remarkable species that all play a part in this diverse and bountiful ecosystem. And a family who's protecting one small part of this land for the future. Soar across the heartland of North America and learn why we all need wide open spaces where we can spread our wings. Narrated by me, Michael Keaton.
It's my pleasure to introduce Diane and Doug Oberhelman, close friends of mine and conservation visionaries, and leaders of so many of us in making this world a better place. There is a saying, you may forget what one says, but you will never forget how they make you feel. Diane and Doug Oberhelman make you feel inspired. There was an abandoned coal mine west of Peoria that was sitting unproductive. Doug came along, and along with Diane and years of work, they've transformed it into an absolute mecca for fish and wildlife, and an example to the world, frankly, of what can be done to restore coal mines. It's a place they today call home. There was a piece of property on the Illinois River north of Peoria that was disintegrating, just becoming a silted-in backwater wasteland. Doug had a vision, and along with others has transformed this into one of the most important waterfowl staging areas in spring and fall on the entire Mississippi Flyway. A place where there literally are millions now of bird use days each year. I've worked with Doug on a variety of conservation issues. Perhaps none is more important than the making of the IMAX film, Wings Over Water, a film to save North America's prairies and the birds that depend upon them. We have our own ecological Amazon here in North America. It's called The Prairies. And coming to you soon will be a movie with incredible photography, cinematography, in the greatest format there is to watch nature in action, IMAX. This movie would not have happened without Doug and Diane Oberhelman. Wings Over Water has the potential to change the world. And this is what Doug and Diane Oberhelman do. They think big. There's no small steps here. And on a grand scale, they are impacting conservation for the betterment of all of us, not only here in Illinois, but all across North America and beyond. So I'd like to ask you to join me in thanking Doug and Diane for their leadership efforts, and also in thanking the other inductees here tonight into the Illinois Conservation Hall of Fame for their efforts in making Illinois and beyond a much better place. Our efforts in conservation are only just beginning. Thank you.
I was outdoors always as a kid, and we grew up on a farm and various farms and outdoor locations. I suppose I didn't really get into conservation until I joined the Duck Club that I'm involved with now here in Central Illinois about 25 years ago, when I realized what it takes to really make sure we have wildlife available.
My mother and father's side both had farms, and the word conservation wasn't really in the vocabulary then. However, they really set aside quite a bit of land for natural drainage. They kept the timber in the woods, and really grew up with fond memories in Wisconsin and Missouri from the standpoint of, relatives who really respected the land and really learned a lot from that.
I bought some property west of Peoria. It happened to be an old coal mine, and it had been somewhat restored under the mining reclamation laws in those days, but it didn't take me long to realize this was really a jewel. It's a fairly large farm, and I thought, it'd be kind of nice to get something going here where we could show that you can do modern farming practices, you can sustain life and humans on that property, and also return something to nature. So our goal early on, and Diane and I worked on this for the 20 years we've been married, was zero erosion, zero runoff, and we're very close to that, so we're kind of proud of that.
From both of our standpoints, seeing so much of the natural habitat going away and the need for so many of us to replace that, it's really critical that we all get involved in creating more habitat, not just maintaining, but creating. And we did our little bit with a book we did together, Quail Lakes and Coal, about the farm that Doug purchased over 20 years ago, and really want people to be educated and understand this is really important just for the global environment.
We've been members of Ducks Unlimited and Wetlands America Trust, and once we became involved with that in the early 2000s, we saw conservation on a more massive scale and realized, hey, there's a lot more to this than our little postage stamp of property out there west of town. So we've really been active with that, and that's been a lot of fun. We've toured a lot of those projects all over the country and Canada as well. It's been great fun and so interesting and educational. Conservation is not for the faint of heart, because it takes a long time and big efforts to make it go. And we've always felt that those of us that are lucky enough in life to be able to give back something, this is how you can do it, because this will last for generations down the road.
The Illinois Conservation Foundation is one of the key organizations for people to support in the further education and efforts, both short-term and long-term. And there's many organizations that people can get involved with, be they small or big, but certainly from an Illinois standpoint in this event, I would hope that more people would get involved in the near future in those organizations.
I frankly couldn't believe it at the beginning when we heard about this, and still it's kind of amazing, because we just do what we do, and we're not in it for public or personal recognition at all. And I would say to join the list of names in the state of Illinois over the last many years that are recipients of this award is pretty amazing, and we are very proud of this. And we didn't aspire to do this, but I guess our work is amounts to something. We're very proud of that.
Agreed. Certainly very rewarding. We certainly think there's other, perhaps more worthy recipients, but Doug and I were very honored, and just it's really exciting to have the passion together with Doug as far as this effort.
I would just thank everybody around ICF. I would really congratulate our co-recipients in this, who have done more amazing things than we have. And a special thanks to Johnny Morris and Jeannie, who are special friends of ours and participate in this event for us.
And certainly Doug and I would like to offer free copies of our book that we did surrounding Quail Lakes and coal, albeit not a bestseller, but it's very educational from the standpoint of how you can turn ground that needs to be reclaimed into a wildlife habitat.
Some great comments by Diane and Doug and their commitment, A, to conservation, B, to the Illinois Conservation Foundation's mission of helping all of us better enjoy the outdoors and, just as importantly, bringing more people into the fold of conservation here in Illinois. Diane and Doug are two of the honorees tonight in this ICF Hall of Fame Gala. We'd like to bring you some comments from our other inductees, the 2020 class of the Illinois Conservation Hall of Fame. You know, Illinois is a really great place to fish. And one of the persons responsible for making sure we have outstanding fishing opportunities here in the state of Illinois is Mike Conlon. We're going to honor Mike tonight as a new inductee to the Illinois Outdoor Hall of Fame. Mike retired from a 38-year career with the Department of Conservation and the Illinois DNR back in 2009, having served as a fisheries biologist, the chief of the Division of Fisheries for 30 years, and later as the director of the DNR's Office of Resource Conservation. Mike Conlon put the right team in place, fisheries biologists and managers who were dedicated to ensuring that great fishing opportunities are available in all parts of Illinois. We're also going to hear from two of Illinois' safety educator all-stars who are being inducted into the Outdoor Hall of Fame tonight. Those who know Jim Smith and Bob Wilkins know that they had to be inducted as a team, and they are being inducted as a team. Jim and Bob are heroes to countless of kids and families who spend time outdoors enjoying fishing and hunting and archery and target shooting, thanks to their tireless efforts. Jim Smith from Morris, Bob Wilkins from Shorewood. Let's hear from these inductees, Mike Conlon, Bob Wilkins, and Jim Smith.
I grew up in the country south of Arthur, Illinois, which is kind of the heart of the Amish country. But I grew up there, and we had a neighbor that would always take me fishing. And right from the time when I was like 5, 6 years old, my dad wasn't a fisherman, but my neighbor was. And so I guess that's where it started. I loved the fishing, and then when I got older, I loved the hunting, and then I loved anything about the outdoors. So when I went to college, I majored in zoology at Eastern Illinois University. And so right after I got my master's, about maybe a month, I got a call from the Division of Fisheries in Springfield, and they were going to hire a couple fish biologists, and so I got interviewed. And a couple weeks after that, I got a call that I could come to work in early September of 1971. That's a long time ago, 50 years almost. I mean, I think that was probably the best job I ever had, quite frankly, was when I first came on with the department. Those years in the field working as a fish biologist. But then I got an opportunity to come to Springfield, and I interviewed for the head of the fisheries division job. I'll tell you the best thing about, I guess, working with fisheries, I loved the job outdoors, but the people that I worked with, they've got a passion for their jobs, and I wound up being fisheries chief for over 30 years. In my last 5 years, I had a wonderful opportunity to serve as office director. And so I not only had fisheries, but I had wildlife and natural heritage and forestry and Nature Preserves Commission. wonderful folks. Just, they all are. I mean, they just are tremendous, the amount of work that they get done. A lot of good memories in the almost 40 years that I've worked for the department, really and truly. I don't think there's a better job to be had for a fisheries person than working as a district fishery biologist. Conservation work, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. There's no doubt about that. And so you got to learn that going in, because as a young biologist, I thought I could change the world in a couple of years. Just hang loose, I'll take care of all those things. But that's part of, learning the job and gaining experience. We're not going to turn this around tomorrow, but we've got to keep at it every day, every year. We can't just sit by and let it go. The conservation and the Outdoor Hall of Fame, I'm so proud to have been considered for that and accepted into that group, because those are the kind of people that I looked up to for years and years and years, and will, as long as I'm on this earth, the people that are out there doing good things. It's very, very humbling, to be cast alongside my heroes when they're still my heroes. They'll never go away. They'll always be up here. But they inspired me, throughout my career, all the way back to when I was in college. And and so the right people are in there, the good people are in there too. And I think that's a showcase for conservation and having an Outdoor Hall of Fame. I don't need a pat on the back. I want my people to get a pat on the back. But you know what? It does feel good to get a pat on the back. And for people to say, hey, we recognize the work that you did, and thank you for that. And that's, that's about the very best thing that can ever happen to a person. And I must have done something right on the job, and I do appreciate it, and the people appreciate it. So that's good.
My background is pretty simple. I grew up just a basic childhood. My grandfather and uncles always took me out hunting and fishing, so my love for the outdoors and adventure was right from the little lad on the way up. So
my background started out late. I became a child, a son, late in my life, so my adopted father put his hooks in me and spent every weekend, every night off, fishing, camping, hunting, showing me the life, and got to a certain point in my life where it was time to pay it forward.
As hunter safety education instructors, one of our biggest education points is conservation, and it's the hunters and the sportsmen that set all of the rules and regulations that are out there for conservation, but we're losing those people. So Teach Outdoors steps in, hey, let's get a tradition going here. Start your family. You may not have been a hunter or a fisherman, or if you just like to watch birds, it's that little waterfowl ticker that you're buying that's saving that land.
If we don't use it, we're gonna lose it. And by us showing the future that it's here, it's available.
We're like every other conservation effort out there. If people don't come and help us out, we lose everything. So we just want to get our name out there, let the communities know we're here to help them out.
It's very rewarding personally. My dad would be proud. I want to accept this, not for myself, not for Bob, but for the founders of Teach Outdoors. My wife, Kim Smith, Amanda Ringness, she's our scholarship director, original founder. All of our major sponsors that support us. We've got a few out there and they know who they are, that we call, what do you need? They give it to us. My community, this community we live in is, it's still small enough to care, but big enough that there's enough out there to make things happen. We've got support with both Buck Gardner and local organizations here in town. And those are the ones that make what we do here. It's my wife, it's Amanda, it's Tanya Funk. She's our secretary treasurer. My daughter, Brittany Smith, she works 80 hours a week, still has time to help us. Chris Oliphant, he's our secretary. The board members and the family we have is what makes this happen. We're just the spokesperson.
It's a great honor to receive it from the ICF, but I'm just the face out front that without the support of all of the board members and all of our sponsors and anybody that comes and donates their time or money to help us out, they're the true heroes of all this.
Everything we do for the kids is absolutely free. We don't charge them for the lunches. We don't charge them for the bat boxes. We don't charge them for the duck calls. We don't charge them for bait. Everything we do is free. We just ask that a parent attend. We want to instill that traditional future. TEACH stands for Tradition, Education, Adventure, Conservation, and Habitat. Those 5 letters put together means family. And you don't charge your family for having a picnic. You don't charge your family to go fishing. So anybody out there that's watching this that can use Teach Outdoors, just find us at teachoutdoors.org or on Facebook. We're there for you. And
Let me begin the congratulatory thank yous to each and every one of you. What an inspiration all of you have been and will continue to be. And thank you for your dedication to conservation and for the relationships that you have built along the way. And speaking of relationships, one of those is with Ducks Unlimited. And so to add to the congratulations tonight is Adam Putnam, the CEO of DU. Adam?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Adam Putnam, and if you couldn't tell from all the product placement, I'm CEO of Ducks Unlimited. I'm pleased to join you this evening to celebrate not one, but 2 classes of inductees into your Hall of Fame. Ducks Unlimited has deep roots and a long history in your state, and we're especially proud of the number of leaders throughout our history who have found their way into the Illinois Conservation Hall of Fame. Thank you for what you do to honor these great leaders. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge your keynote speaker tonight, Johnny Morris, who is just an extraordinary example of entrepreneurship in our great country and someone who's never forgotten his roots. He is best in class when it comes to reinvesting in conservation and is a true friend to all conservation organizations across the United States, Ducks Unlimited included. So tonight, we have the pleasure of honoring virtually 2 years worth of Hall of Fame winners for the Illinois Conservation Foundation. Jim and Bob, I want to begin by acknowledging you and your great support and dedication to the next generation of conservationists. The creation of your TEACH program, the fishing derbies. Obviously, we're big fans of what you've done for wood duck boxes, the shooting sports, connecting to that next generation that's so essential to all of our missions. Mike, thank you for your nearly 4 decades of service to the Illinois Department of Conservation, now Natural Resources. Your focus on fisheries has made Illinois a model state and nationally recognized for the tournaments that you have attracted and all the economic development work, not to mention the impact on the resource. Illinois is better off for your dedicated service to that great state. And our good friends Diane and Doug Oberhelman, board members of Ducks Unlimited and our Land Trust, Wetlands America Trust, personal friends, and a couple who are just the dynamic duo and the nicest people you'd ever want to be around. Diane and Doug, congratulations on this well-deserved honor, and thank you for your leadership role in telling the conservation story, both through your book as well as through your leadership of the soon-to-be-released IMAX movie, Wings Over Water. Ducks Unlimited salutes all of tonight's honorees and all of the previous inductees into the Illinois Conservation Foundation Hall of Fame, and we're profoundly grateful for your leadership. COVID has taken many things away from us this past year plus, but one of the things that it has given us and given society is a renewed appreciation for being outdoors, for enjoying the very land, water, and wildlife who is better off today for the contributions of tonight's inductees. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you someday soon in person when we can all tell stories about this great pandemic year that has affected all of us in so many ways, personally and professionally. Congratulations and enjoy your evening.
Thanks again for joining us tonight for the Illinois Conservation Foundation Gala and Illinois Outdoor Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. We appreciate you joining us online for this virtual event. We're not done yet. We still have keynote remarks coming up in just a few moments. But we want to remind you that if you're interested in tonight's raffle, and you should be interested because it's a terrific take-home for the raffle winner, who will be announced at the end of the evening, the raffle sales will continue until the end of our keynote address. So the clock is ticking. Get your credit cards ready. Get in on the raffle as soon as possible. We're going to pause now. Please listen to these messages from the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
Think I got a bite? I think I got one.
You know, every time you do that, you're scaring the fish. It's in the net. It's in the net.
Hey, boy, how they bite?
Chevy Blazer 2020. Expect the unexpected. This is what dreams are made of. Follow that dream. Dreams can come true. Right now, it's your chance to score big on a 2021 Chevy Silverado. Drive what Kane and Taves drive.
Wow, what a great group of inductees we have this year. We're so happy to be virtually celebrating with them and you. ICF was founded back in 1995 to support the IDNR. Since then, we've awarded nearly 450 grants to Illinois schools to create a wildlife habitat area of native plants on school grounds. We've distributed nearly $1.2 million to schools for field trips in Illinois state parks, natural areas, forest preserves, and other sites. We support recruitment, retention, and reactivation programs like the National Archery in Schools program, the Scholastic Clay Target program, Safety Education, Becoming an Outdoors Woman, and Disabled Outdoors Opportunities program. In early 2020, restoration of the Eternal Indian statue, the second largest concrete monolithic statue in the world, was complete. ICF helped raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for that project. Last year, we built a free app called Outdoor Illinois, where you can sign up for free reminders for permit application deadlines. We are currently partnering with several organizations to provide accessibility enhancements, including a handicapped accessible fishing pier at William Powers State Park on the south side of Chicago. We put theory into practice at our Torstenson Youth Conservation Education Center, where we host over 8,000 children and adults every year. These achievements all happened right here in Illinois. That positive impact is because of donors like you. Because as I mentioned earlier, we receive no state or federal funding. So I'm again asking for your support by means of a virtual paddle raise. I'll be providing suggested amounts, but please know that you can donate any amount at any time. If you already donated through our Gala's online system, you will also be recognized at this time. And please bear with us a moment as there is a delay between the live video and what you're seeing on your screen as we try to thank all the donors as they come in.
So Steve, what you're essentially asking people to do with a paddle raise is if we were in a banquet hall you'd want them to raise their hand and donate money, and that's what you want folks to do here tonight.
That's exactly right. We're going to be suggesting certain amounts, and if you feel that that amount suits you, at that moment you can go on our online system and donate any custom amount at any time, but we are going to be making some suggestions.
Well, $5,000, how's that for a suggestion?
Sounds like a good starting
I think
place.
that's a darn good starting place. With the help of $5,000, the Illinois Conservation Foundation, and I want to make sure I get this right, $5,000 can send 50 kids on a first-time hunt at the Torstenson Center up in northern Illinois. That's amazing. You'd be providing 50 kids with the experience of a lifetime. Many of the children we serve would never have the chance to go hunting if not for donors like you. And many of them will then go on to be active in the outdoors, all because of the help provided through an opportunity offered by the Illinois Conservation Foundation, but an opportunity, Steve, that doesn't happen without donor support.
This opportunity is provided by our donors through the Illinois Conservation Foundation. That's correct.
Well, we're wondering, $5,000 is a lot of money.
It's a lot.
But you can guarantee that that money is going to a good cause for youth and the outdoors.
Absolutely. It will stay right here in Illinois, as do all dollars that the ICF raises.
So do we have a $5,000 donor? Has anyone cued you from the back of the room?
We'll check.
You have text messages.
I do.
This is even better.
We do have one that came in. Thank you very much to Doug and Diane Oberhelman for being a $5,000 donor tonight.
That's fantastic.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Well, we heard from Doug and Diane earlier and their commitment to the outdoors. That says it in volume.
It's been proven.
No doubt about that.
Thank you again, Doug and Diane Oberhelman.
How about a $2,500 donation? What could we get for $2,500?
Well, that amount could pay for an entire weekend of youth duck hunting at our Torstenson Center. We currently reserve both the youth weekend and the opening weekend of waterfowl season for youth hunts. You may have noticed on our auction page that we're auctioning off the second weekend of the northern season, and that's the reason why. These hunts are in demand. People want a place to take their kids hunting. They want to learn about duck hunting, and we can provide that opportunity, but again, it takes money. So $2,500 is enough to cover that, or it can also cover an entire cost of a youth and women's wing shooting clinic, where up to 48 women and children can come learn how to shoot clays one-on-one with a DNR certified instructor.
The wing shooting clinics are really a good way to introduce kids to A, the outdoors, and to B, to shooting sports, and the expert instruction that they receive, made possible by donors like you. It's cash well spent.
It's true. I myself am a DNR certified wing shooting instructor. It is a great program, one that I'm personally vested in as well as through work. So we're very proud to be raising money for that program and others.
And it would be free of charge to kids and to women interested in learning to be better wing shooters.
Yep.
If they're interested in waterfowl hunting, or if they're not interested in waterfowl hunting, they will become interested in waterfowl hunting if they can participate in one of these youth women wing shooting clinics.
Waterfowl hunting, upland hunting, whatever, anytime you're shooting something with wings, this is the place to go. We host these all around the state every year. There's clinics in every area of the state. If you're interested, you can find those on our website. You can find them on the DNR's website. It's a partnership program between us and DNR. But $2,500 is enough to basically cover the costs of everything involved with running a wing shooting clinic, the targets, the ammo, the traps, the maintenance, everything that goes into that program. $2,500 would cover an entire weekend of programming.
So a $2,500 donation to the ICF tonight provides an opportunity for kids and women to improve wing shooting skills they may already have, or to learn from walking in and getting that instruction for a first time.
That's correct. Yep.
Well, we want to encourage $2,500 donations, and I keep waiting for someone to yell at us from the back of the room, but you have it right here on your phone.
I do.
So
I've got my phone out.
do we have anyone who's made that $2,500 donation?
Like everyone at home, I'm texting while this is going on, We do, in fact, have our first $2,500 donation. Thank you very much to the Painters District Council 30. Painters District Council 30 has donated $2,500, and I know that they have supported us in the past, and specifically for youth duck hunts. So I think that's probably their intention, is to support another youth duck hunt at Torstenson.
How about a $1,000 donation, Steve? If folks who are logged in tonight are interested in helping the Illinois Conservation Foundation, what would a $1,000 donation bring?
$1,000 can really do a lot. We've got several options of things that can do. You know, for our Torstenson Center, we buy seed for food plots and habitat. That costs us about $1,000 a year. We use those food plots and pollinator gardens for kids. 4,000 plus kids that visit the Torstenson Center every year can come and learn all about what that means. How does habitat develop? How is it sustained? How do we as conservation professionals help sustain wildlife and improve wildlife here in Illinois?
So you're going to give kids an opportunity to get their hands dirty, to get their clothes dirty, and to do something good for the environment.
Correct. Yep. Another option for $1,000. $1,000 would cover the cost of an entire biodiversity field trip grant for a teacher to be able to take kids from school who may not have these opportunities otherwise to also go and have a hands-on learning experience. They've gone everywhere from state parks to forest preserves to museums. I mean, you name it, it qualifies for this program. All the information's on our website. If you're a teacher out there and you're listening today, make sure you get your application in. It's a great program.
So for $1,000, a supporter tonight could guarantee that a classroom would get a chance to take what they've learned in class and put it to use with a field trip, eyeballing what they've learned, maybe by book, maybe by tablet, but in a classroom, get them out of the classroom, take them on a field trip.
That's right. ICF's motto is turning screen time into green time, and that's what we strive to do through all of our programs. This program is a great example of that. Another program similar to that in nature, $1,000 would pay for the cost of a schoolyard habitat action grant, which provides an entire school the opportunity to learn about all aspects of sustaining wildlife by paying for all the materials and plants and everything necessary to build a habitat right there on the school grounds. The kids are part of the design process all the way up through the planting and seeing what happens with that habitat. They can plant it right on the playground. They can plant it wherever they want on their grounds. $1,000 covers the entire cost.
For $1,000, you could invest in making sure that there's a new pollinator garden in the neighborhood at the elementary school down the street. What a great idea.
That's right. Support the monarch.
It's a $1,000 donation, gets a schoolyard habitat action grant funded.
That's correct.
Good cause. I'm not hearing any yells from the back of the room, so I guess you'll have to check your...
Well, I've got a few texts here, so
this is good.
we can start here. So thank you to Ronquist, Brown, Smith, and Wallace. Thank you to Christopher Burke. Thank you, Mark Roberts and GoWeb1. Thank you to ICF board member Mike Hillstrom. Thank you to Painters District Council 14. Thank you to Kobe and Crystal Shaw. Thank you to James Maxey. And thank you to Dave Dimke, all $1,000 donors.
Fantastic. And even if folks who want to donate would prefer to be anonymous donors, we'll certainly take their donation and we'll decline to read their name if that is their choice.
Yep, another one just came in. So Marcia Polhamus, thank you very much. I'm sure Marcia's husband Ken is involved in that as well. So thank you, Ken, a former ICF board member. So thank you very much. And yeah, if you'd like to make a donation and not be recognized tonight, give us a call after the gala is over. Go on our website. However, we have many options for you to donate. I know not everybody wants to be recognized publicly, but thank you again to all of the $1,000 donors. That's incredible. There were so many. You're really making a difference right here in Illinois for conservation.
And before we let you go check your latest text messages any further, how about a $500 donor? Someone interested in $500.
One last level, $500, while it's the lowest level we'll have tonight, can still make a huge difference in conservation right here in Illinois. Last year, ICF was approached by DNR about starting a new program that hasn't existed before called the Illinois Historic Sites Field Trip Program. It operates much in the same way as the Biodiversity Field Trip Grants program that I described earlier, whereas instead of taking kids to a biodiversity site like a state park or a forest preserve, now you can take them to one of the many historic sites here in Illinois. Many people don't realize a couple of years ago, DNR absorbed the Illinois Historic Preservation Agency, and with that took on 56 new sites. And those sites are spread all the way from the very southern tip of Illinois all the way to the city of Chicago. There's a lot of really great sites, a lot of history as it relates to Illinois and how Illinois helped shape the nation. And $500 is the cost of that field trip. So a $500 donation sends a class full of kids with a teacher to any one of these sites, and it's a brand new program that you can help fund today.
There are state historic sites in all parts of Illinois, and students interested in making that trip would certainly appreciate a $500 donor helping them make a field trip to a state historic site that they might otherwise not get a chance to see.
Absolutely.
And do it with their classmates, which would be even better.
And you know, us living in Springfield, we're surrounded by historic sites here, and I think sometimes we take that for granted, but they exist all over the state. I think you'd be surprised if you saw the map, 56 different sites all around the state.
And if you're interested, please donate $500 to support the Illinois Conservation Foundation in efforts to send students to state historic sites.
And, you know, like any good millennial, I'm here checking my phone.
Only if they're donating, Steve. Only if they're
We are receiving some donations here. So thank you to Jamie Stevenson. Thank you to Maureen Bennett. Thank you, Stan Pepper. Thank you, Daryl and Jane Gum. Thank you to ICF board member Barbara Johnson. And we also have an anonymous donor of $500. So that's what my phone's telling me right now. So thank you all. Thank you all for your $500 donations. Really does help make a difference, again, right here in Illinois. We couldn't be doing these programs without donors. And, you know, this is great.
Oh, wait a minute. We have another donation just in. Someone finally came from the back of the room with
You've been talking
with
about
a check. This is good.
Well,
you need to read this. Steve Ettinger is the executive director of the Illinois Conservation Foundation. This is a good one.
We just got a call, and I'm truly blown away. I don't know what to say. So as you know, Johnny Morris is our keynote speaker tonight. Johnny just contacted our staff. Johnny Morris and Bass Pro Shops would like to make a donation of $25,000 in honor of their good friends, Doug and Diane Oberhelman, and in celebration of the 25th anniversary of the ICF. I mean, wow, I don't know what to say other than thank you, and thank you so much to Johnny Morris and Bass Pro Shops. This is amazing. We can't thank you enough. This will have a huge impact on our organization and on conservation in Illinois. Thank you. Thank you, Johnny Morris and Bass Pro Shops.
You know, if we had a room full of people in a banquet hall, it would lead to a standing ovation.
I think there's people clapping in the room right now.
This
so
is
yeah,
fantastic. Congratulations to the foundation.
I don't know what else to say.
And thanks, sincere thanks, to Johnny Morris. And Chairwoman Callahan wants to step in and thank you as well.
Absolutely.
Well, not only to say thank you for everything that you have done, but it's time for the featured speaker, who is Johnny Morris.
Yes.
And I don't know what to say, really, other than to thank for the generosity for everyone during the paddle race, and certainly for Johnny Morris and what he has done for conservation. I used the word inspiration earlier, and he certainly has been that to generations now. And so I'm excited to learn more about what he wants to share with all of us. But first, just a little backgrounder about Johnny Morris and his beginnings and his genuine interest, much like Doug and Diane, much like every one of our inductees tonight, has their own personal stories and their own personal reasons for wanting to be involved in conservation in habitat. And Johnny Morris, the founder and CEO of Bass Pro Shops, got his start in 1972 by selling fishing tackle out of the back of his dad's store. And since then, he's earned a reputation as one of the most visionary, one of the most influential retailers of the last 50 years. And today, he is known as a retail and a travel destination pioneer, a passion for connecting people to nature. It's synonymous with Bass Pro. The shop's now 200 retail outlets, marine centers across North America, and they welcome more than 200 million visitors every year. His revolutionary marine industry with the Tracker, America's best-selling fishing boats and ATVs, offering genuine Ozark hospitality at the Big Cedar Lodge, a premier wilderness resort and travel and leisure named it the best resort in the Midwest, not once, not twice, but 3 consecutive years. A leading conservationist nationally, and in 2019, the National Audubon Society awarded Johnny with its prestigious Audubon Medal for his lifetime efforts to protect wildlife habitat and connect more people to the great outdoors. And now, because of Johnny's generosity, we'll be able to do the same thing along with all of you adding to that total. So let's learn more from Johnny Morris.
Hey, check these out. Fresh spring morel mushrooms found in the Missouri Ozarks, the beautiful Ozark Mountains. I'm Johnny Morris. I've been out here in nature at this beautiful place called Dogwood Canyon today. It's April 15th, 2021. And I feel very honored to have the opportunity to just say a few words to all of you gathered that are supporters of the Illinois Conservation Foundation. We thank you for all you do. It's so important. I think this about conservation. It means everything. And these troubled times, you know, our country's very divided on many issues. It's unfortunate, but one thing that can and should and does unite us all is conservation and looking after our natural resources. If there's been a blessing through the past year, I think back a year ago, how rough things were. And we still have some troubles today, but it was scary. But one thing that's been a blessing from all this virus is families and especially kids being connected or reconnected to nature and the outdoors. We see it in our business, Bass Pro, everywhere where people are kayaking or buying a fishing license, kids going fishing. It means a lot to our country and the people. It's so inspirational. And like I'm hunting these mushrooms, I don't know, I like to, probably several of you love all kinds of hunting or fishing, some of you don't. But it's the being in nature that matters the most. And these sports of hunting and fishing are great American traditions that connect a lot of us to our families and our friends and to nature. Some of my probably biggest heroes would be Audubon, James Audubon, and Teddy Roosevelt. What drew them to nature was they were sportsmen and they loved to hunt. And through hunting, they gained a keener appreciation for nature, the habitat that it took to sustain all the critters. One thing there's no doubt about, our company wouldn't even be. Bass Pro, Cabela's, if it weren't for one thing, we wouldn't exist, and that is conservation. So tonight, I know is a special recognition to honor some people there in Illinois that have done so much for conservation. And right at the top of that list to me are my friends Doug and Diane Oberhelman. And just I got to know Diane. She's our landlord at Bass Pro in East Peoria, a spot we're pretty proud of. And then my son John and I have come to know Doug really well because we've been involved with this Americans Wetlands Trust. It has a lot to do with not just for waterfowl, but for nature, especially clean water in our wetlands. They're it's nature's way to purify our water, which is more precious today than ever before. So Doug and Diane, we salute you. I can't think of any two people more deserving to be inducted into the Illinois Outdoor Hall of Fame. Also, congratulations to Mike Conlon, Jim Smith, and Bob Wilkins. Congratulations and thank you for all you're doing. One thing that's for sure, I've come to really appreciate this and believe it deeply, is to achieve great things in conservation. Like most things in life, it does take teamwork, people reaching out to each other. We can't just regulate good conservation in a great environment. Yes, we need to have regulations, but our federal agencies or state agencies alone, they can't achieve truly great things. But when we reach out to each other, you know, like we heard from Adam Putnam earlier. I know he was going to say a few words for this evening, but what a great organization, Ducks Unlimited. What can they do on their own? But when we pitch in together, like the state agencies, the federal agencies, the NGOs, individuals, all of us, and companies, it's just amazing some of the great successes we've had there's no place really in the world that's so advanced in conservation as our USA. We should all be very proud of this. Our North American model of conservation is unmatched anywhere in the world. And man, what's that all about? It's like a lot of it has to do with sportsmen levying tax on themselves, sportsmen and women. Our federal excise tax for fishing gear, for hunting gear. A lot of people aren't even aware of this, but this 10, 11% comes right back into support conservation, that and the sale of hunting and fishing license. Those things represent close to 90% of all funding for the great work that our state fish and wildlife agencies do. So I don't know, I'm happy to be hunting mushrooms here and have an environment to do it. And I thank you all for all you do, and most of all for future generations to come. We thank you all. We salute you. Have a great night, and know you're making a lot of us very happy. Keep up the great work.
Great discussion and great conversation from Johnny Morris of Bass Pro. We appreciate his support, appreciate his long support of conservation in the U.S., around the world, and especially tonight, support of the Illinois Conservation Foundation. Our raffle is closed. Silent auction is closed. We hope to have the raffle winner here shortly, and we'll announce that raffle winner this evening. Silent auction winners, with the silent auction now closed, you should be able to tell online whether you have been successful, and you'll be contacted as a follow-up by Illinois Conservation Foundation staff regarding your win in the silent auction here this evening. Raffle winner, are we ready to announce? Okay, we understand the raffle winner will be notified via email, so hang in there. You may be rich. As we close out the program tonight, thank you all for tuning in, pointing and clicking and joining us for the Illinois Conservation Foundation Gala and our induction of the Illinois Outdoor Hall of Fame. Again, the chairwoman of the Illinois Conservation Foundation is Illinois DNR Director Colleen Callahan. And Director, I'm going to turn it over to you to close things out.
Well, Tim, thank you for sharing your expertise with us tonight. I truly don't know what to say at this juncture, and I mean that sincerely, other than to say thank you to Johnny Morris, to all of you for your extreme generosity. Our goal for tonight, with so many uncertainties, we really didn't know what to expect. Going a virtual event, a new experiment and experience for us. And with that $50,000 goal, we thought that would be great if we could achieve that. And because of you, because you took the time to spend this hour with us, our grand total is almost double that, $96,360. With 230 registrants. We wouldn't have had 230 people probably at the gala in person. And who knows what that total would have been. But let me say this, as I close out and say thank you, we look forward to continuing to work with you. And this means for future generations that we can continue our work every day at DNR and through the Conservation Foundation. It is our responsibility every day, the conservation, the preservation, and the presentation of our state's natural resources. We're able to do that now for future generations in more ways than we would have been to do otherwise. So we'll see you again next year, and hopefully in person. But in the meantime, thank you for joining us virtually tonight, and have a great rest of your evening.